All right, so third grade today I'm going to walk you through how to fill out a rubric. This is you grading yourself. So I'm going to pretend that I'm grading my own artwork, okay? So for grade class, you can just put your class code, and you guys know that your class code is 3EB, okay? So if you were in second grade, you would put 2 and then your teacher's code, or if third grade, you put your 3 and then whatever your teacher's code is, and then your name goes here. Okay? Now, most of the time, if you felt like you did a good job on your art project, you're going to be in this column which says great work with a smiley face, okay? This is a good grade, okay? Keep in mind, a 4, which is perfect, almost never happens. It could happen every once in a while, but if you're getting 4s on stuff, that really means you should be in like a 4th grade art class, okay? So keep that in mind, that is very, very high, okay? Most of you are not going to be getting 4s. Most of us, a 3 is going to be good, okay? A 2 means almost there, so that means maybe you just didn't do very good on one small part of your art project, and that's an area that you think maybe next time you could get better at. If you're giving yourself a 1, it means that you pretty much didn't do that part, okay? Like you pretty much didn't do it. So let me walk you through the different steps. So observe and learn to comprehend is your background knowledge or research. Now, we didn't really do a lot of research, but I gave you a lot of background knowledge about Vincent van Gogh and the Starry Night, right? So you just need to read through here. I used a lot of art history, famous artists, time periods, etc., and art vocabulary in my own art. We used some art history, famous artists, time periods, okay? We used Vincent van Gogh, didn't we? So if you went ahead and implemented anything else from art history that I didn't teach you, then I would say you could give yourself a 4, like if you did some of your own research. But most of us are going to be here. Now, if your picture, for example, didn't have a starry night in the sky, then maybe you didn't implement any art history, right? Because then it's just something different. It doesn't look like anything like Van Gogh's, okay? Or if you needed a lot of help with that. Relate and connect to transfer is plan, think, sketch, okay? So this one says, I took time to plan and personalize my artwork for my final project. And great work says, I planned and personalized my artwork for my final project. So if you felt like you went above and beyond to plan this out, like maybe you even did some extra work at home, or took a whole period to plan and make yours a lot different than mine or different from other kids, then maybe you would be a 4. But most of us are going to be a 3. Okay? As long as yours doesn't look exactly like mine, it's a 3. If you didn't plan your artwork and you tried to copy from the teacher or a friend, then you might be a 2 in that section, okay? We can get ideas from friends, but we don't want to try to copy their work, right? Invent and discover to create is your final art product. This is the finished product. I properly used art materials to help create my artwork. I worked at a steady pace, but I did not rush. I hardly needed any help. Then you would be a 4. Some of you could be a 4 in that area. Most of us are going to be a 3. I used the art materials and technology to help create my artwork. I worked at a good pace and I needed a little help. Most of us need a little help once in a while, don't we? That's normal. So most of us are going to be in that category. If you needed a lot of help to create your artwork, or you either worked very fast or very slow, then maybe you were a 2 there, and that's just an area you can improve on, okay? If you didn't do an art project, then you would be a 1. Okay, envision and critique to reflect. So this is part of your artist statement. So I would say leave this blank and let's turn it over and work on the back for a minute and then go back and do that one. You don't need to fill this part out as long as you did it on the front. So here's what a critique is. A critique is a careful judgment in which you give your opinion about the good and bad parts of something, like a piece of writing or artwork. Reflecting means think carefully about something. So you are critiquing and reflecting your own artwork. Feel free to show it to your neighbor and see what they think about your artwork as well. Guiding questions. This is what I want you to think when you're writing your artist statement. What kind of art did I make? What makes my art different from others? What materials did you use? What is your favorite part of your art and what would you do different next time? What art vocabulary, artist, or time period did I learn about in this project? Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and answer this, but you should answer it in your own words when you're doing yours, okay? So my artist statement, I'm going to say, let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. I made a drawing and a painting of a landscape What makes my art different from others? I feel like I created a lot of unique means different or special, stars in the sky. What materials did I use for my project? I might say I used paint and construction paper crayons and markers, but I'm going to say my favorite part of it. For my project, comma, my favorite part was using a pencil to make the stars. I'm putting an exclamation point. Now I kind of already answered the next question, which what was your favorite part of the art and what would you do differently next time? It's good to have your artwork in front of you when you're doing this. I don't have mine in front of me anymore. What would I do differently next time? I almost might try to be more creative with my landscape next time, because I just did grass and houses kind of like Vincent van Gogh, but some of my students got really creative and they did Paris and they did the Eiffel Tower, they did a beach. So I'm going to say, I wish I would have included more details in my landscape. What vocabulary, artist, or time period did I learn about in this project? You guys should know this. Who can answer that question for me?
Vincent van Gogh.
So I learned about Vincent van Gogh. And I'm going to try to think of what vocabulary I learned about. I think I learned about, does anybody remember when we did our stars, what art vocabulary word I taught you?
Was it how to go?
No. Remember what it means when the stars are the same on all sides? What that was called?
I forgot what it's called.
Radial symmetry.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, I'm going to start a new paragraph. In this project, I learned about Vincent van Gogh and his art. I learned about radial symmetry comma, which you can see in my stars. Okay? So now that I finished that, I can go back to the front and reflect. When I think about my art making, I know why or how I did things to make it unique. My art turned out perfect. I can explain exactly what I learned from this project. How many times is our artwork going to turn out perfect? Not very often, right? When I think about, friends, when I think about my art making, I sort of know why and how I did some things. Some things were just happy accidents. How many of you had some happy accidents? I can explain some things that I learned from this project. Most of us are going to be there. Okay? Some of you could be a 2. When I think about my art making, I don't really know why or how I did some things, and I don't really know what I learned from this project. Some of you might be in that category. Okay, so that is how you fill out a rubric.